day 3, VMware Explore Barcelona, and man, obviously the big word of the week, John, has been AI.
Yes, I need to go buy some more GPUs, apparently.
Oh, do you have some now? Or are you just sitting
I got one during COVID, and I'm not going to discuss where I had to meet and what I had to trade for it, but...
Nice. Well, yeah, if you're at VMware Explore, or even if you're streaming on it at home, I'm sure you've seen this gentleman speaking about AI at the general session, speaking in many customer meetings and all over the place, and he gave us a couple of minutes. Chris Wolfe, thanks for joining us on the Virtually Speaking podcast.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just start from the very top. What is VMware's announcement at Explore for AI?
Yeah, I think that the core for us is there's a lot of place where this is a community-based solution. Customers need a lot of choice. And when VMware was looking at our own AI strategy, core for us was first the ability to run models where we wanted to keep our data, not have to give up our data to take advantage of AI. And then second, it was really obvious to us that you had to have choice. We weren't ready to just pick like one solution or one partner. And then we thought, you know what, our customers were pretty sure that this is what they want as well. So the VMware approach is really to focus on private AI infrastructure that can allow a customer or partner to run whatever AI service they want above it, maintain privacy and control of their data, and then also you get a lot of benefits of virtualization as well, so such as the ability to share GPUs, to use DRS to more intelligently schedule your compute capacity so that you don't have a lot of waste, right? Having central management for AI and non-AI workloads. These are things that really matter to customers, and then they look at the VMware ecosystem and they find that pretty impressive, and they're like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to partner with VMware here. They really like our neutrality. And the last thing I would add with that is the ISVs do too, because if I'm an ISV and I'm running on a hyperscaler today, in many cases the hyperscalers are direct competitors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're learning my business, and at the same time they're competing against us. And now if I'm an AI ISV, I don't want to even get into the on-prem business. Right? That's hard, right? So they're like, we can partner with VMware there. So it's a really good place where their account teams can bring in VMware to do anything on-prem, and they know that we're not going to compete with them. So it works out really well. So I think that's also really adds to the VMware opportunity here.
Yeah, that is a win-win. So you said that we started doing it internally first. So I know that you were focusing on that. So like, what were some of the use cases internally that we were looking at for AI?
Yeah, we've done some search, so internal document search, so internal KB with retrieval augmented generation. That allows you to have full awareness of anything in VMware documentation using the model and our RAG search engine. So new documentation, KBs, finding answers to how to work with VMware products, that's been a use case. Code development has been a use case as well. And we've had this conversation with a lot of customers, and they're in the same boat where they looked at public cloud services for AI code development, but they didn't want to move their code repos into a public cloud. That was just a line they weren't willing to cross. So this is where we started running the Hugging Face StarCoder model internally, and we saw some really good results. I mean, it's really exceptional results in terms of the satisfaction from the people that have participated in the study.
Yeah, StarCoder blows my mind to just think that you could just actually generate code with using AI. That's like future.
No, exactly. It's like versus like, okay, I have a problem, I'm going to go spend some time on Stack Overflow, right? I'm going to get there. AI is just automating all of that. It's just making it all so much faster for you, and that's what we've seen the satisfaction rate in terms of people who have tried the tool that want to keep using it. It's more than 90%. So and we can't get 90% of developers to agree on anything, right?
Fair point.
So it's like that's really it was a nice surprise for us. And I'd say the other one too is people assume you need hundreds or thousands of GPUs to run AI.
Right.
We tuned the Hugging Face StarCoder model against some of our own data in less than half a day on 2 NVIDIA A100s.
2?
Yeah, that was all it took.
Wow.
Wow.
And VCF now supports 16, so 2, and you're doing the entire, that's
yeah,
impressive.
Yeah, and even for inferencing, and that's where people spend all the time focused on training, right? But your day-to-day workload is inferencing. It's applying the AI model, right, to solve a problem. And in our case, again, if I go back to code development, we were seeing scales of up to 400 software engineers on one A100. So again, it's going to cost less than you think, it's going to use less energy than you think, right? And it's going to give you a lot of value. So what we're trying to do now is get the word out so people understand that these are attainable use cases for them that can come in on a low cost, and it's not going to take a very large carbon footprint either.
That's nice to hear about the scale and the specific unit costs, because this has been something that's been kind of just very non-transparent. I mean, I think I did see that you could like train your own GPT model with a custom data set starting at 2 or 3 million, and that doesn't sound like someone who's trying to justify an internal POC necessarily where they want to go. But this sounds just, two or three of these. This sounds, and we're a large company. I assume some companies could get some smaller unit costs. This sounds like a great kind of entry point.
Yeah, and I mean, to give you a really another interesting use case, so we had a team that built a chatbot using a large language model with retrieval augmented generation for financial services. So I can answer financial services questions, and the whole process, start to finish, was less than 2 weeks.
Wow!
And here's the more amazing part. We were running all the inferencing on CPUs.
Okay, so these are things, I don't have to go to great links or...
7 billion parameter Llama 2 model, Intel 4th generation CPUs, no problem.
Yeah.
I thought GPU was a requirement. Apparently not.
Well, and I thought it was GPU at the scale of, clearly I need liquid cooling and exotic things in my data center, but no, this is...
Yeah, if you want to build your own language model from scratch and, go through all that process, sure, it's going to cost you a ton, but the open source space is moving so fast, you just don't have to do those things.
Yeah. Well, and I assume there'll be commercial models against specific verticals also showing up to help with that. So.
100%. That's really what we're banking on, is there's going to be all of these domain-specific models that are going to be applied to different industry verticals, different line of business use cases. They're going to be much smaller. They're easier to tune against my business data. They're, the overhead in terms of compute and memory to run them is fairly low. And then when you start thinking about, I can unlock CPU for some of these use cases. A lot of our customers, they already have spare CPU capacity in their clusters, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you're just turning that loose. You don't got to go and use these other resources.
I was initially skeptical when I heard about sharing the compute in my existing environment, because you always hear about kind of the noisy neighbor problem and like, okay, we'll use DRS, but like I assumed this was this overwhelming saturation for weeks or months of an environment. I'm like, I don't want that anywhere near my ERP or anything else. But this sounds much more approachable.
Yeah, and we have like a top complaint, if you want to call it that customers have today that have been early adopters of AI, is they say they have these GPUs, and especially if it's like a bare metal solution, they're provisioning them. The data scientists might consume X amount of GPUs for a week, and like the ops people know they don't need all of those GPUs, but there's no way to prove it, right? So if you can start to put a virtualization in front, I can say, well, actually, you just need a core. You don't even need one GPU, right? Then you can start to fractionalize the GPU, and then there's a whole bunch of business value.
When you go bare metal with this stuff, I think people are still thinking in HPC land, and like, I'm going to schedule to where the entire supercomputer is mine for this week or number of hours, versus a much more time slice model, it sounds like here.
Well, I think you'll like this now that you brought up bare metal. So, first, the virtualizing GPUs is huge, but second, in terms of being able to cycle through AI clusters, we can't be beat. Public cloud can't beat us, bare metal can't beat us. We can stand up an AI cluster with the model preloaded into memory in 3 seconds.
Wow.
It takes 5 to 7 minutes on bare metal.
Yeah, so, you got to boot, initialize, load.
Yeah, we use instant clone. It was great for
VMware. Oh, because instant clone can pull the memory.
Instant clone.
VM fork. Oh, wow.
As fate would have it, the inventor of instant clone, Daniel Beveridge, is also a member of AI Labs.
Oh, there you go.
And he's like, hey, we can use this for this too. And we're like, oh yeah, we sure can.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
forking memory for I thought that was forever just going to be like a weird VDI thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, nope, it's got new life again.
There it is. Yeah, it's a totally different use case for this. Yeah. Fantastic. So in Vegas, we talked about VMware Private AI Foundation with NVIDIA, but then at the general session, I heard a couple of other vendor names come up. Some partnerships now, and what are these new partners bringing to the game?
Yeah, it's really exciting. So, and I'd say the one thing too that's important about our strategy is we're not out to collect logos. And you see that a lot, right? Where like, hey, look at all of our logos. If we're doing something with a partner, it's very specific, it's very directed. There's resources on both sides that are committed to it. So like to go through some of the announcements, we announced with Intel our collaboration around private AI. That includes the Intel software stack as well as our hardware. So that's the 4th generation Xeon, that's their Max series GPUs as well. On the software stack, I think a couple of interesting things. We had one API support. So what Intel's been working on is an open source way to manage hardware accelerators and connect applications to accelerators, because the only other alternatives today are proprietary. And what Intel did that I give them a lot of credit for is they donated that to the Linux Foundation. and that formed the UXL, so Unified Accelerator Project under, in the Linux Foundation. VMware this week has joined that as a steering member as well.
Ooh, okay.
So we're always about interop, right? That's in our DNA, and we see this as an important project. We definitely want to have a voice there too, and make meaningful contributions to it. So that's Intel. So software and hardware working together, and some really slick demos in terms of what you can do with AI on CPUs that I think will be pretty eye-opening for people. And also, not finished yet. So I think what's also cool is, like, I've really been pushing the teams building the demos that don't just make it a video, right? Like, share. Yeah. So what we're planning to do is any models that we've made or customized for these demos, any of the code we've used, we're making sure all of that's available so that our customers can repeat exactly what we did in their own labs.
GitHub, just throwing it up there?
Yeah.
Or?
Yep.
Nice. I like that. So that's Intel. Thank you, Pat Gelsinger. What about IBM?
IBM. So we've already seen a lot of customers using their Watson X SaaS service for AI today, and IBM has their own AI services. They also can serve open source services from that and open source models. So it's already a fairly robust service with a good solid customer base. But just like us, they've seen the use cases where customers want the AI on premises. So they've worked with VMware, and what they're doing is we've done the work to enable Watson X to run on OpenShift on vSphere. And this was really key. So, for IBM's sake, like their cloud deployment, that's how it runs. It is the services run on OpenShift, and they're like, oh wait, you guys already support OpenShift, and as far as we can tell, there's more OpenShift runs on vSphere than any other platform today, including bare metal. So it was like no effort to do this integration, and that's been really important, I think, for us and how we approach the AI stack, was to say, for the Kubernetes layer, we're specifying Kubernetes. If the customer wants to use Tanzu, awesome, right? We have a great product. If they want to use OpenShift or they want to use Rancher, that's okay too. We're going to make sure that that's also fully supported.
Wow.
Open ecosystem.
Yeah.
So we were talking to Kid Colbert, and he was saying how, previously your focus was many things, focusing on all future things, trying to figure stuff out. But recently, you've had sort of a title change. Essentially, I don't know the exact title, but you basically are focusing specifically on AI with an entire team. Is that some insinuation into sort of the heavy focus that VMware is putting on AI?
Yeah. So I was covering all of the research and innovation work across a variety of areas, and there's some great things that we were able to accomplish in partnership with our business units. So the Velo Edge Cloud Orchestrator is a great example of a good effort with the Edge team, where we now have this single node Edge appliance that's fully programmatic, massive scale. That was work that had started in my organization that we're very proud of. But then, and if we go back with AI, the team's been working in AI for more than the past 5 years. We've done a lot of work there. We had already a base of knowledge. Starting about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, I started sending some emails upstream to other VMware leaders around thoughts on what the AI strategy should be. And as that evolved, come the start of the year, Raghu was like, okay, this is the focus. Let's pivot the team, and this was good support from Kit to pivot the team 100% to AI. And it was a pretty easy sell, right? It's like, which side do you want to be on, right? The AI side or the side getting cannibalized by it, right? Yeah. So it worked out well, and it's like we all have to make these pivots in our careers, right? So on a human level, like my biggest pivot was probably pure luck. I was a certified Novell engineer.
I was a CNA.
All right, there you go.
I did a Novell migration 8 years ago.
8 years ago, that's impressive.
It was a bit late, yeah.
Yeah. So when I went to Commvault, they had one of the interview questions they'd asked me. This is now 24 years ago, I guess. They had asked me, "Have you ever played with the Windows 2000 beta?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "You're going to be our Windows guy." And I'm like, crap. I'm like, my career is ruined. Like, why did I even go here? But I was really lucky. But that moment taught me that you have to see these technology shifts, and you got to get in front of them. And our organization, by and large, they were like, "Wow, this is great. It's a good opportunity. It's good for us." And we got some really, really rock solid engineers. that have done some great work. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Yeah, you are definitely in the exciting space, man. I cannot wait to see what VMware does in this space, and everybody for that matter. It's an exciting time to be around, and I want to thank you, Chris, for joining us on the Virtually Speaking podcast.
Yeah, appreciate the time. It's been great. Thanks.
All right.